So the weirdest thing happened the other day. I know that Icefall Mantles got a tiny bit of a buff, but to me, that made all the difference. So I decided to start rocking Icefall Mantles in the Crucible, and boy, have I been destroying with these lately. I don't know if they're actually good, or maybe my playstyle has changed, but I've been rocking them. And I'm fully aware that the current Overshield King is the no backup plans, but really my playstyle has changed so much that shotguns just aren't part of it anymore, or at least for right now. But don't you worry, dear viewer, don't worry that pretty little face of yours, because I will be making a fashion build with the no backup plans very soon. In fact, it might be the next video, but I'm not too sure on that. And the really fun thing about that video is I'm thinking about doing like a Destiny 1 throwback in Destiny 2, so subscribe for that video. But anyway, back to Icefall Mantle. Like I said, and like you're kind of seeing in the background footage right now, I've been rocking them in the Crucible, so I decided to make myself a new Titan update for Season 15. So go ahead and drop a like on this video, and go ahead and check out our channel sponsor Extra Wallets. There will be a link down below to that, and we can talk more about them later on in the video. And now let's get started on our nice Icy Titan. So before I actually go over what I am wearing here today, let's go over what I call all of my accent pieces. So for example, my No Time to Explain with its Frozen in Time ornament that you got for pre-ordering Beyond Light, and the rimmed ghost shell that you also got from pre-ordering Beyond Light with no shader attached to it. And in the background I am rocking the of 10 Sun Sparrow, and I am rocking it with the Resilient Laurel shader to help add that like nice reflective blue on there like ice. And as far as what I'm wearing, it's a very good combination of what I've been doing in all of my Titan videos recently. So if you've seen the Juggernaut video, the Faceless Titan video, the Peacekeeper video, and just all of those put together create this beautiful Titan right here. So from my Juggernaut video, I talked about how much I really love the Braytech snow boots. They are big and chunky, but not like overly big or like comedically big. They have a presence to them, you know? One of the really annoying things about using this is this unshaderable bit right here, but I can get over it. And a very common piece that I use a lot of, and you guys will know this if you watch any of my other Titan videos, is actually the Sunbreaker plate. So if you don't have the Sunbreaker set, I strongly recommend that you get it just for this chest plate. It's so versatile, and it really brings me back to those Destiny 1 days. And what do I mean by it's so versatile? I mean, it fits together with so many different arm pieces and so many different legs and so many different heads. It's just a very good all-around chest plate. And attached to this Sunbreaker plate, we have the Icefall Mantles. So of course you know that these give you Overshield instead of you using your typical Titan shield. And I don't know what it is about the sliding nerfs or just the nerfs to shotguns. All of the combination of nerfs that have been recently happening has turned me into a more patient Crucible player, and with that patience comes me being able to use these Icefall Mantles a little bit more easily. So I've been rocking these and throwing on my Overshield, and actually I've been winning a lot of gunfights against like 2 people at the same time. And now let's go ahead and move on to the head. So like I was talking about earlier, this helmet I kind of started using with the Juggernaut Titan. So I love the retrograde helmet. It's very wide and it like almost commands a presence in the room. It's very menacing in a way. I don't know if it's because of this like little pattern that it has right here. It looks angry at you, but it's one of my new favorite helmets. And of course, you can also use any of the helmets that look like it, like the Shelter in Place or the Brave Titan helmet. Although those do add a little bit of like a shiny visor right here, so results may vary. And attached to my butt, I have the Mark of Remembrance. So if you've been watching my videos for a bit, you've seen that I've started using this mark because it's just out of the way, man. It really just makes the rest of the armor just never lose the gaze of whoever's looking at you. You don't have to worry about a giant mark making your hips look too big or pulling the audience's attention away from the rest of your armor. And all of those armor pieces put together, combined with the Aniline Shock shader right here, will really help you put together that icy theme that Elsa would be proud of. Okay, so now that we've talked about the armor that I'm wearing, let's talk about possible replacements. And if you watched any of the videos that I mentioned earlier, you're gonna kind of recognize a lot of these armor pieces. So, for example, like the Sunbreaker plate, I always recommend that you can replace this with either the Moonfang chassis, just because it still does kind of provide that like same theme that Sunbreaker has, although the only downside is this like unshadable bit right here with the yellow lines. And to go a little bit quickly through these, because so many chest plates can replace the Sunbreaker plate if you don't have it. For example, Devastation Complex also works, and it adds a little bit of fur to your neck, kind of making your Titan look a little bit warm. I also mentioned that the Crystal Cream plate is a good replacement because the snow boots are big enough to handle the bulkiness of this plate, so they can still work out perfectly without you having to switch out anything else. But if you do find these legs a little bit too small, you can also use the Crystal Cream legs as well. And lastly, if you still want that fur and maybe you don't have like the Crystal Cream set, you could actually try out the Celestial plate from the Eververse store. And the Celestial plate is a very big and bulky plate, so it can really handle the like bulkiness of the Icefall mantles. As far as the legs go, so these have a good amount of replacements as well, like the anti-extinction greaves. And lastly, you can use some of the new vendor armor, so for example the Phobos Warden Greaves. These will also still provide that same shape that the other two have, but these are a little bit bulkier, so that way you can kind of balance out the like bulkiness of Icefall mantles a little bit more. And from there we're going to go ahead and head off to the Mark. So the Mark, like I said, I'm looking for something small and not something too bulky that will take your eyes off of the set. A really good Mark that I've mentioned before is actually the Moonfang Mark. The Moonfang Mark will kind of keep everything here in the back area, and it won't distract from anything here in the front. Also, the like shape that the belt has right here will match up perfectly with the snow boots and the Sunbreaker plate. And actually, a mark that I've been enjoying a lot of lately, so the Sunstead Mark from the Solstice 2021 event. It's very like thin in the waist area, which is really nice, and it also gives you this like big flowing mark in the back. If you tend to like bigger marks on your Titan, this is a very good choice, although I would recommend switching out the shader for it. Something like Resilient Laurel will work out pretty damn well, that way you can still get that like icy blue. And now for armor alternatives for the head. So I already mentioned all of the different copycats that the Retrograde has. So for example, the Shelter in Place does give you a little bit of a shinier visor, so I would excuse the fact that you maybe want to use something else. One thing that you could try would be the Iron Will helmet. I do like the fact that it's just very solid and it makes your Titan look a little bit menacing. But I completely understand if you think that this helmet is a little bit too small for all of the bulkiness that we have going on here. So another good replacement would be something like the anti-extinction helmet, and it also kind of makes you look like a stormtrooper. And like I mentioned in my Juggernaut video, all of the new like vendor armor sets, the ones that all look the same, will fit together with this as well, just because they are very wide and still command the same presence that the Retrograde helmet does. And of course we can go over replacements for this shader. So good replacements for the Aniline Shock would actually be other like Dawning shaders, or one of them that really surprised me is going to be the Satu Tribe. If you want to have more of a like matte white and a very like shiny blue color. Or if you want something very similar to Aniline Shock, we also have Resilient Laurel, which I put on my Sparrow that I mentioned earlier, and it still does provide you with that like very light and almost blinding blue color. And lastly, a shader that a lot of you should have, the Omolon Meteor shader, will also give you that same like icy blue color, but it adds on these nice white lines that kind of almost give you a little bit of a like borderline aesthetic, although these lines don't translate to the other armor pieces, so it's not a perfect replacement, but hey, it still gives you a nice icy blue color. Alright everybody, so that's going to be the video for today. Remember to leave a comment down below to tell me what you thought about it, and go ahead and hit that like button if you did enjoy the video. And remember to stay tuned to the channel because I will be doing a no backup plan fashion, that way you can destroy some people in the Crucible and look good while you do it. Radiant Dance Machine and Nothing Manacles will follow soon after, hopefully whenever I get those, and whenever Bungie finally patches the whole like you can't add a shader to them for whatever reason bug. And another video I'm going to be working on that will replace the videos I was supposed to make on the new seasonal gear is I'm going to be doing like a fashion meta update. That way, instead of boring armor reviews, I can just tell you which armor pieces are good in one whole video, and it'll be a lot quicker to make, and it'll just be better all around, so stay tuned for that video as well. And if you want to influence that video or any other video coming in the future, go ahead and join my Discord server where we can have a conversation. And lastly, if you also want to rock the latest in fashion outside of the game too, consider grabbing yourself an extra wallet. I've been rocking mine for many months now, and honestly my favorite part is the little button at the bottom of the wallet that just makes all of your cards pop up whenever you go to pay. And another feature that it has is the fact that it's trackable, so if you tend to lose your wallet a lot in your house, you can just like make it beep, or you can kind of see a general area of where the wallet is in your house, or maybe if you left it somewhere else. So if all of that sounds fine and dandy to you, go ahead and click on the affiliate link down below to help out the channel and to grab yourself a fashionable new wallet. And for all of you guys that have made it till the end of the video, I'm gonna give you a virtual high five. Thank you. Go ahead and click on another video showing up in the end card now, and Guardians, as always, stay beautiful.